All-Star, Batman Robin, The Boy Wonder. Take a look at this comic cover right here. Now, I'm just going to call this All-Star Batman for short because, well, it's a ridiculously long title. And All-Star Batman is an Elseworld story set in a separate universe outside the DC continuity. And like with all Elseworld stories, it gives the writer a lot of freedom to do things that they would normally never do in the mainstream continuity for DC. Do things with the character or the story that's kind of over the top and daring. This can work out great for some stories, like Kingdom Come. But this has a downside. Sometimes writers can go so over the top and so completely different from the norm that it just ruins the characters and story. And when you have a writer like that, Frank Miller, something bad is going to come out of it. I might as well take a moment to actually talk about Frank Miller in this review. I don't like to rant and rave. I think ranting is just absolutely obnoxious. Unless you agree with the person, it just comes off that the person's an asshole. I mean, if someone starts ranting about the new Zelda game and you don't agree with them, you're going to automatically get pissed off at them and be like, dude, you're a dick. But then again, if you agree with the person, you're like, yeah, man, go for it. I just usually don't like to rant because I don't want to piss people off and I don't want people to think I'm an asshole. Yes, there is stuff that I get emotionally passionate about, but I tend not to rant about it. I like to give you the cold hard facts about a story. But I am going to rant a little bit about Frank Miller. See, Frank Miller, without a doubt, is one of the most famous writers in the past 20 or 30 years. He's done fantastic work with Batman and with Daredevil and his own independent stuff like Sin City is widely loved by comic book fans. However, something happened to Frank Miller. I don't know what it is. Maybe the rabies finally kicked in that he got bit by that random raccoon. But Frank Miller is going crazy. He's absolutely losing it. His work and quality of work has gone downhill so much that it's just, I'd rather watch that sex scene from Team America where the girl shits on the guy, because that is more entertaining than some of the stuff he's been pulling out. See, I blame Sin City for this, as do many people, in that Sin City was a very gritty, very dark story. But Frank Miller hasn't been able to move on from that, and it feels like every story he's done thus far has been basically Sin City just with different characters. And if you remember from my original All-Star Batman and Robin review, that's what I felt about this book, is it felt like Sin City just with Batman costumes. It didn't feel right. In addition to that, I've heard nothing but negative things inside of the actual comic community about Frank Miller. I met with artists that refuse to work with him because he's a total douche, and I've met with people that actually met him that say he's a total douche. Now, I personally have not met Frank Miller, so for me to say this stuff is just on a second-based opinion. This is stuff I'm getting from other people, so really it's unfair to me to say that, seeing that I haven't met the guy. But then again, if you get enough results from enough people, I think it speaks for itself. Frank Miller just comes off as a douchebag. Again, I haven't met him, so for all I know, I could meet him and he gives me $1 million and does whatever I tell him to do, and I'd be like, hey, this guy's good. But so far, I haven't gotten the best impression. What bothers me even more is that people utterly support Frank Miller to the end. And it's kind of acceptable. Because, see, the thing is when you love something enough, you tend to support it to the very end. And most people that support Frank Miller now support him because he did such fantastic work in the past. And there's no denying that. His work with Batman and The Dark Knight Returns in Year One and Daredevil and stuff was fantastic. But see, people that love that so much tend to support him in the utter shit that he's been putting out as of recently. To the very end. And it's actually laughable when people do it. Because, see, the thing is I do stuff like that too. I'll support a video game series that has gone downhill. God, I was in denial with Sonic up until Shadow the Hedgehog. After that, I had to be like, okay, yeah, I agree with everyone. This series, sorry, it just sucks. So that's the thing, is when you're blinded by love, you tend to kind of support stuff that you shouldn't support. It's like an abusive wife that sticks with their husband that has gone crazy and foaming at the mouth and writing horrible stories. It's just, you know, you see it happen, but you shouldn't be doing it because you know that he's doing bad stuff. Come on. I mean, I love Paul Dini to death. I think he's a fantastic writer. But if he starts writing bad stuff, I'm going to call him out on it. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, Paul's doing a fantastic job. Did you see that comic where he had Batman take his penis and whack Superman in the face with it? That was great writing! No. I would say, Paul Dini, bad boy. No. Of course, Paul Dini hasn't done anything like that. So far, he has had a spectacular reputation when it comes down to comics. But everyone can do bad stuff. There's no denying that. The thing is Frank Miller's just not good anymore. Accept it. He's not. I know you guys out there think that he is. I'm going to give you proof to why he's not at the end of this. Just wait. I challenge you. Watch this review and wait. Might as well get into the comic itself. All-Star Batman is set in the Dark Knight universe, which apparently has Year One, All-Star Batman and Robin, The Dark Knight Returns, The Dark Knight Strikes Again, Batman and Spawn, okay, and then Holy Terror Batman, which I don't even think has been released yet. Interestingly enough, Batman Year One counts for the mainstream continuity and the Dark Knight continuity. I think that's the only story that I know that counts for two separate universes. But anyway, most of the information I'm getting when it comes down to the Dark Knight universe, particularly the Spawn and the Holy Terror Batman stuff, is coming from Wikipedia. I will admit it. And Wikipedia is not the most reliable source when it comes down to this stuff. Trusting Wikipedia is like going through the garbage and finding needles and playing doctor. That's not a good idea. And the basic story of this is, I don't know. Some people would argue it's Batman bringing Dick Grayson in and making him Robin. But even then, it's not much of a story. It's kind of miscellaneous shit that Batman does throughout this time period of Dick Grayson becoming Robin. Butting heads with villains, butting heads with good guys, butting heads with allies, butting heads with himself. He just doesn't have any friends in this. And that's the basic story. There isn't really much of a story. There's going to be a sequel and a continuation with this called Dark Knight Boy Wonder. Really? But even then, there's not much story there. There's nothing really there when it comes down to story. There's random stuff, but even the random stuff doesn't have much backing it up. Let me see. Batman gets pissed at the Justice League, who all the Justice League members are absolute douchebags. He has sex with what I assume is this universe's Black Canary on a dock, which is really random. Robin almost kills Green Lantern. Yeah, there's no really cohesive story. Characters randomly show up too, like Joker shows up and Catwoman shows up, but they only show up for a few panels and don't do anything. Batgirl shows up for like 3 panels and doesn't do anything. Might as well get into the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good! Well, might as well start off with the good. The art is absolutely stunning and fantastic. This is done by one of my favorite artists, Jim Lee, who's done Batman Hush, Superman for Tomorrow, his run on the X-Men in the 90s. He is a fantastic artist, and this is absolutely stunning and beautiful. There is no denying that. This is absolutely stunning and beautiful art-wise. Bad. Everyone is ridiculously out of character. Batman's even more of a douchebag than he usually is, has no regard for anyone's safety. The Justice League are absolute idiots. Wonder Woman represents nothing about Wonder Woman. She's an absolute bitch who doesn't believe anything in democracy, diplomatic solutions, peace, equality. She just wants to tear off Batman's head. It kind of goes back to All-Star Batman Robin sequel, The Dark Knight Strikes Again, where Wonder Woman was either won over by Superman or was raped by Superman. One of the two. The character's out of it. Superman's a complete idiot. Green Lantern, well, he gets beat up by a 12-year-old kid. And, well, Plastic Man's in character. But then again, it's hard not to have Plastic Man in character because he's just a joke to begin with. The villains don't really act like villains. They're kind of just there chillaxing. I mean, you could argue Catwoman, but she's still just there chillaxing. And there's really no story. Frank Miller utterly ruins Batman here. Completely. It's despicable. It's so bad. And here's the thing. This comic is the worst comic I've ever read. It beats out Superman Return to Krypton, which was just a complete mess, and Batman Hush Returns, which again was a complete mess. I've read some terrible comics in my life, but this takes the cake. It just destroys everything that is good about Batman. People are completely out of character. And here's the challenge for you. If you're a fan of this book, if you're a fan of Frank Miller, and you do not believe me, that's okay. I challenge you to watch Linkara's review of this comic on Atop the Fourth Wall. I'll post the link down there. I challenge you to watch that and come back to me and say, I disagree with everything Linkara says and everything you say, and I still love the book. And if you love the book, that's fine, but you cannot deny that this book is utter complete shit. It's a waste of money. So when it comes down to buying it, buy it. Confused? Let me explain. This comic is so horrible, so atrocious, the worst comic I've ever read. It's absolutely so bad that you actually should buy it so it enhances the reading of your other comics. When you read this comic, everything else will look like the ambrosia from the gods. This is so bad. Do not buy it because you think you're going to get a good story, because nope, you're not going to get a good story. It's going to suck balls. It's going to suck ass. It's going to suck Macaulay Culkin. I don't know. It's just going to suck. It's that bad. It really is. But if you buy it and read it for a good chuckle and be like, oh, Frank Miller, you psycho piece of shit, then there might be a reason to pick it up. But no, in all honesty, don't pick it up. It's just horrible. It's just atrocious. And like I said, I challenge anyone who disagrees with me to watch Linkara's review. Because Linkara is a fantastic reviewer, and he does a far superior job at reviewing this comic than I do. Far superior. So I recommend you watch that. Come back to me, and if you still love the comic, that's fine. But you have to tell me that the comic's good, because really, it's not. So with that said, I'm going to end this review here. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.